In the 1980s, he was just a regular math teacher at a private school, making a pocket change salary. He had no inheritance, no major investments, and no clear path to wealth. Yet, fast forward a few decades, and this ordinary man owned a massive mansion on Manhattan, a private island in the Caribbean, his own commercial-sized Boeing airplane, and dark secrets about the most powerful leaders on Earth. Jeffrey Epstein was not a mad loner or a typical criminal. He was a systems engineer. Over 20 years, he built a flawless underground corporation where human trafficking was managed with the cold precision of a Silicon Valley startup. How did this horrific venture operate right under the nose of the FBI for decades? Let us break down the mechanics of his corporate balance sheet. Every successful startup needs an angel investor to provide the initial capital. For Epstein, that investor was Les Wexner, the billionaire tycoon behind the massive Victoria's Secret lingerie empire. For reasons that are still shrouded in deep mystery, Wexner signed a full power of attorney, giving Epstein absolute, unrestricted control over his entire fortune, his corporate accounts, and his private properties. Backed by these endless billions, Epstein did not just play the stock market. He opened a private offshore bank on the Virgin Islands, a place completely free from taxes, financial regulations, and government questions. But money was just the fuel for his machine. The real product of his company was exclusive, highly illegal access to forbidden pleasures, designed specifically to trap world leaders in a net of blackmail. The second pillar of his dark empire was logistics. A business cannot scale without a perfect supply chain, and Epstein, along with his right-hand associate Ghislaine Maxwell, built a flawless one. They purchased a private island called Little St. James. On this island, they built a bizarre temple-like structure with a golden dome surrounded by hidden cameras. To transport his elite guests and victims, Epstein used his private Boeing 727, nicknamed the Lolita Express. But how did they source their victims? Instead of risky kidnappings, they implemented a classic multi-level marketing strategy, a literal pyramid scheme. They targeted vulnerable young girls from low-income families, paying them a few $100s for legal-sounding spa treatments. But then, the girls were offered a lucrative corporate bonus. If you bring a friend next time, you get double the money. The pyramid scheme began to recruit itself. These young girls believed it was just an easy cash opportunity, and they willingly lured their own classmates and friends into the trap. The assembly line ran like clockwork year after year, requiring zero direct management from Epstein himself. Why did this horrific system never glitch? Why did the alarms never go off? Because the clients using the service were the very people who controlled the legal system itself. In 2008, the police in Florida finally backed Epstein into a corner with overwhelming evidence. Any regular citizen would face a lifetime in a maximum security prison. Instead, Epstein's team of high-priced lawyers secured an unprecedented, shocking plea deal. He pleaded guilty to minor charges and received a laughable 13-month sentence. Even worse, he was granted a special work release privilege. Every single day, he was allowed to leave his jail cell for 12 hours to go work from his own luxury office on Wall Street. But the real criminal catch was hidden deep within the fine print of that legal document. The deal granted total lifelong immunity from federal prosecution to all unnamed co-conspirators listed in the police files. The names of presidents, prime ministers, and billionaires were legally shielded with a single stroke of a pen. This dark corporate machine was not destroyed by an investigative triumph of the FBI. It collapsed in 2019 only because its massive scale began to threaten United States national security, and the public anger became impossible to contain. Jeffrey Epstein met his end in a lonely jail cell under highly suspicious circumstances, while the prison security cameras conveniently failed. But the ultimate question remains for all of us. If the blueprints and mechanics of this corporate machine are still out there in the open, who is running its new version right now? Subscribe to understand the hidden mechanics of real crime.